1% of dudes rapping, they ain't nice as me. 98% ain't live the same type of life as me. The judge gave me life and then they sent me where the life is be. That level 4 with depth and vice, the type of stuff they like to see. Two choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die a chump. I never been a mark, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get pumped, and some sexually brutalized. Knew a dude who lost his life and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when homie all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia, AB skinheads with big giant swastikas, pro-black philosophers, the BGF, the Kumi, and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. That MS was loony, quick to ride up on they rival. Even Christians went to church, hide knives up in a Bible. Political and tribal, the Crips and Damus, the Long Beach, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pyrus, the hustlers quick to roll, the gangsters don't move, whatever click you choose.
Say what's cracking YouTube, it's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a pro violation. Yard down. Yeah, that was me gassing right there on that intro song. And if you want to get that song, it is available on a 10-song EP that you get directly from me on a digital download. Also, I have 2 other mixtapes that you can cop on digital download. One has 16 songs, the other has 13 songs. And you already know how I do, man. The flow is nothing like Curtis Blow. Yeah, they banging, man. So hit me up on my email, 16tolifemusic@gmail.com. They are $20 a piece or $45 for all 3. Now, let's hop right up into this video, man. So I seen this video yesterday, man, and I've been doing some work on one of my reaction programs, trying to get that all together. I done one earlier. There wasn't no sound, so I'm back to this one, but I think I got it all situated. But anyway, so I'm supposed to do this. I saw a video. It's basically Damien Porter says cartoon is coming for me. Now, I want to make this 100% perfectly clear before I even get into the content. I do not have a dog in the fight, right? I'm just strictly doing this for 2 reasons. First and foremost, because it's content. Secondly, because I'm just going to keep it real as far as what I know pertains to gang members, the streets, prison, so on and so forth. So let's hop right up into this without further ado, man.
Welcome to another episode, everyone. Big Cartoon, Big Tony, formerly of Fire Trey Avalon, he had some things to say to me about the Jap 5 situation and whether or not Jap 5 went to a 50-50 yard and a PC yard. He calls me out, but he has it all wrong. What he's saying that I said in my video, I didn't say, but whatever. I'm not here to. I did say whatever I said. Let's get into it. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and play this whole video to give you all some context.
Now, just to pause this real quick, I just seen the video a couple of minutes ago, too, where you have old Dubs misquoting Damien Porter and what he said in relation to this video as well. And I'll do a video on that tonight, and I'll drop that tomorrow. So y'all definitely be sure to tune in for that. You know, anytime I hop on Dubs' Hell Mito, it's going to be fire.
You know, about what he says about me, so you'll understand why he's saying these things about me. Give you a little context. He says some other things here that are a little bit interesting, but he's clearly taking up for Jap 5. You may want to call it selective politicking, if you will. Let's see, man. You know, I just did my video. These dudes, they just coming at me right now. You feel me? That's cool, though.
What's up, Foundation? What's up, YouTube? Man, it's me, your big partner, Tony. I'm back again, back again, back again. Okay. Let's get to this, because I've had people in the comments saying stuff to me about it, and I've seen other people making videos about it. This thing about this Jap being on a paroling from a 50-50 yard. Okay, one dude.
Now, so the title of his video here is "Let Me Address This Jap 5 and This 50-50 Yard Mess." That's the title of Big Toon's video. Let me address this Jap 5 and this 50-50 yard mess. Let me address this mess, he's saying. Let me address this 50-50 yard. He's talking about Jap 5. Now, when I did my video, the title of my video was, I believe, 4 Extra Goes Berserk, on Jap 5, whatever. I was reacting to what 4 Extra had to say about their squabble and all that. And during that, 4 Extra happened to say that Jap was on the PC yard. I said then, I had never even heard that. I didn't. People were saying it's a clip running around of it and this and that. I didn't even know, bro. I never even heard that he was on the 50-50 yard. So when 4 Extra said it, I addressed it right then and there. My video wasn't about that. My video was about 4 Extra going berserk on Jap 5, as the title said. And then that just happened to come out during the video, where that subject came up with 4 Extra brought it up, saying that he paroled from a 50-50 yard, etc. And I spoke on it just a little bit, but he has my words all mixed up. Big Tune.
In the comments say, Tune, you go in the back for your stepson about what 4 Extra said, blah blah blah. But now when the situation come up about a 50-50 yard, don't do this or that. First off, telling me don't do this or don't do that when it come to him, you wasting your time. You're out of pocket. You're out of line. You crazy. You know what I'm saying? I could care less about this internet stuff when it come to family, about what not to do and what to do and what not to do. Man, if you don't miss me with that bull. Okay. Here it is. First off, I personally don't know what a 50-50 yard is. When I was in prison in California, they didn't have that. I was in prison back in the 80s. There wasn't no such thing as 50-50 yards, or it wasn't no such thing as what I've been hearing these people say, S and Y and all. I don't know what none of that is. First off, I don't know what it is. So I don't know exactly what the politics are about that. I've never checked into it. I've never even tried to figure it out. I don't know. But now from my
well, let me tell you, 50-50 equals 100. 50 plus 50 is 100. 100% bad.
Now let me stop that right there, right? Because you have a lot of individuals, man, who want to say that Crips, Bloods, and blacks who do time in the California prison system do not care about being on 50-50 yards, and that's 100% false. Now, you do have some individuals who go there, right, and they may do their time there like all the other races that's there, but you cannot leave a 50-50 yard and go to a 4 yard and expect to be embraced. I mean, people who don't believe me, all you got to do is check out B. Braze's channel. He talks about it quite often. If you leave a 50-50 yard and think you're going to be welcomed into the fold on a level 4, from what I'm hearing, you will be sadly mistaken.
You didn't know, now you know. A 50-50 yard is no good. A 50-50 yard is PC. Now, yes, there's a difference between going to a 50-50 yard because you just want to go home and you haven't done anything wrong. These prisons are full of these 50-50 yards now. And these individuals are getting off the bus and going over there because they just want to go home. They don't want to go to this main line. The general population with these heavy politics have to stab someone, get stabbed for whatever reason. They haven't done anything wrong. They're not a snitch. They're not a chomo. It's like, not to bring J Hood up again, but just to try to, bring you the difference, but of the two, if Jap went to a 50-50 yard, he went voluntarily because, hey, I want to go home. I ain't finna go over here with all these dudes, the homies, whatever, politicking. I'm going to 50-50 yard so I can go home. As opposed to, man, some individuals accusing you of snitching and they remove you from the yard, beat you up as a bloody removal, and you got to go to a PC yard, you got to go to 50-50 yard because of something that you did, some infraction, one infraction or another. Voluntarily going over there, hey man, send me over there just so I ain't got to. That is different than you did something on the main, on the main line, general population yard, or on the street, or in the courtroom or whatever, that got you removed from a general population yard and sent over there. Yes, there's a difference between the two. Nevertheless, it's still all bad. A 50-50 yard is 100% bad. It's no good. Period. Ain't no 50-50 yards. I'll never in my life want to, you gotta kill me. Ain't no 50-50 yards, bro. This is what it is. Period. This ain't no tough talk. I lived it. This is what it is. It's not happening. 50-50 yard is all bad. So he said he didn't know, they wasn't around in the 80s and the S and Y yards and the 50. He don't know what none of that is. Let me clear it up for you. 50-50 is 100% bad.
Understand.
And let me just say that, now, so you've heard DAMIEN Porter give his, basically his ideology on that. Here's a man who paroled from a 4-yard, not too long ago, I think within the last 3-4 years. And he does, as far as I know, I watch his channel periodically, still in communication with individuals on that 4-yard. So he would know as well as anybody.
Landon, if you on a 50-50 yard, you supposed to be no good, or S and Y yard, or whatever. Okay. If that's the California politics now, okay, that's the California politics. I just don't know nothing about it. But
okay, you reciting it pretty good. You know the politics. That's okay. Again, let me educate you. Let me enlighten you. That is the politics. You're no good once you hit a 50-50 yard. You have situations, I'm going to get into it. I'm going to have to do another video on this right after this. You have situations where they're giving you 7 days to get off a 50-50 yard. I heard some individuals saying, man, y'all just taking over the South Side. Y'all just adopting the Southsiders politics, man. We don't normally be tripping off that kind of stuff. No, this is what the blacks are doing, bro. Ain't got nothing to do with no Southsiders. The blacks are making their own stance on this. They have been made a stance on this. We don't have to copy anyone's politics. People have been copying our ideologies and politics for years. They usurped the politics from the BGF. We're not taking anyone's politics. We've created everything in this country, and they just usurp it and then take the credit for us. We're not taking anyone's politics. We are standing on this ourselves. I say we as if I'm in prison. I'm not in there anymore. I was just in there 4 years ago, April 19th. It'll be 4 years since I've been home. 14 days, 2 weeks. All right. Hang in there, big fella. But let me just let you know, Big Toon, yeah, they're all bad.
Now, to combat that, I could care.
Doesn't matter who's on there. It doesn't change because of the individual that's on the yard. The rules, the politics remain the same. If I look at Jay Hood a certain way for being on that yard, I'm going to look at everybody the same way. If it was my brother, that's on my mama, rest in peace. If it was my little brother, an individual I would give my life for right now, no hesitation. Take this chicken shit ass life. Just don't touch my brother. I give it up for him right now. If he goes to a 50-50 yard, PC, I'm going to tell him, bro, you're no good. You're no good now. You're out of the game, homie. Give it up. I don't want to hear you claiming no hood. I want to hear you talking about how you stand on business. I want to hear you talking about how you a beast, how you stick to the protocols and rules. I don't want to hear any of this stuff anymore. You're lying. You're no good. I'm not going to touch him. I still love you. I still got your back. But you're no good. You got to get out of the game. You can't be in the game around me no more. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say about the game. You went bad in the game, bro. You're all bad in the game. Don't preach to me nothing about the game anymore. That's my only point. It is what it is. You are, you are. You did what you did. But don't be acting like you're this, that, and the other anymore, because you're not that. You're not that.
Less about it. You know what I'm saying? I could care less about it. When Jap left receiving, he went to the prison that they sent him to. And he stayed there and did his time. So now if that was a 50-50 prison, so be it. I'm glad he stayed there and did his time, and I'm glad he came home. You know what I'm saying? But of course, you're going to have to understand, am I biased about it? Yeah, I'm biased about it. Am I going to look at it how other people out there in the world look at it? No, I'm not. And I'm not finna sugarcoat it. I'm finna say, yeah, straight up. Yeah, I'm biased about it. Whoop-de-doo. So what? I'm supposed to not be biased about it just to try to appease y'all or make y'all feel a certain type of way about the situation? No.
No, it's not about appeasing us or making us feel.
And let me pause and say something right there, right now. Of course, in most situations, we don't expect individuals, realistically, to harm their family. The average cat is not going to. You have some who may, right? And I have heard, right? I have personally seen an individual. He rests in peace now. Carl Lovins, I'll say his name, who his nephew told on me. And Carl told me personally, you should have came and told me, man. I would have whooped his motherfucking ass. This is what Carl told me, right? And to my understanding, he excommunicated his nephew because he believed that much in not telling, so on and so forth, right? I'm not saying that anyone did tell, but what I'm trying to get to and say that is, this is where the game gets watered down, right? When individuals start making certain allowances for people who are near and dear to them, and they give them passes, because it don't have to be family. People can give passes to homies they love, and so on and so forth. And then the favoritism comes into play, and that's where that's where the game goes bad, right? Now, I'm just talking in relation to the streets. There is one rule, and an individual is not supposed to tell. He's not supposed to, go to these yards when they are designated, and deemed PC. And that's all I'm saying right there. It's not to disrespect anybody or whatever. I'm just keeping the game straight and cut like it's supposed to go.
A certain kind of way about it. It's about standing on whatever the rules and the protocols are, regardless of who it is. And if you don't stand on that, then that's fine. But you can never stand on it again. You can never talk about someone else being PC or 50-50 if you're going to excuse one individual for doing it based on who he is, based on the fact that you have love for him. That doesn't mean anything.
It's pretty much what I just
I love my brother. But if you go PC, I'm going to come on here saying he's done. He's cooked. He went PC, bro. That's it.
I could care less about how y'all feel about the situation. You feel what I'm saying? This is coming from...
Okay, then you shouldn't be speaking on gang politics anymore, bro. You shouldn't be speaking on prison politics and 50-50 yards. And I don't know that he does speak on that, but you shouldn't. If it's okay for Jap 5 to do it, then it's okay for everyone to do it. Don't criticize anyone for doing it. That's it. Don't criticize anyone for doing it. Don't say that this individual is all bad for what he did if someone that you care about did the same thing and you won't call them out. That's it. That's all. It's okay to have your stepsons back, to love him. I love Jap. We're going to get to that in a minute. He going to get on me in a minute, and I'm not going to just let it go either.
A person who really and truly loves Jap. Y'all don't love him. I do. His mama do. His brothers do. His uncles do. His aunties, his grandmother, his family do. So out of all the people I named, do you think they really care? We really care about what yard he came home from, or what y'all feel about what yard he came home from? No.
100% true is what he's saying right there. Me, of course, doing a lot of time in prison. I've been in the county jail and been in prisons where, you know, you have family members at times encourage their loved one who was incarcerated to do what's best for them. Basically saying, hey, man, if you got to tell on your friends to come home. You know, you see that a lot, especially in the county. You know, females out there, they got babies. You know, their man is locked up. They want him to come home. You know, you got a son out here is what they love to holler. You gonna neglect your son? You better do what's right. You better say what you have to say. So, of course, you know, a loved one is going to love you regardless. A loved one is going to want you to come home. And what he's saying is facts. You know, if I had a went PC, my mom wouldn't love me any different. You know what I'm saying? So my brothers wouldn't love me any different, you know. Now, the homies, of course, they going to definitely look at me different. They wouldn't consider me a homie no more. You know what I'm saying? But so what Tune is saying is facts. But once again, just in the big scheme of things, when we're talking what's relative to being a gang member and prison politics and so on and so forth, then yes, those individuals are going to look at you different and ostracize you.
Not one thing whatsoever do we care. I'm glad he's home.
That's everyone. That's everyone that's on a 50-50 yard or a PC yard. That's everyone who's snitched, everyone who's a chomo, everyone who's beaten a woman. Whatever they have done, they all have mothers, grandmothers, children, fathers, stepfathers, sisters and brothers and friends that love them and want them home. So again, we have to look at that in a broader scope, that if it's okay because he has all these people that love him and wanted him home, then it's okay for everyone. That's it. It's okay for everyone. And that's fine if that's how you feel. But that has to be how you feel moving forward, that it's okay for everyone. It cannot just be okay for him because he has his family that loves him and not okay for everyone else. It's okay for everyone. If it's okay for him, it's okay for everyone. That's all.
And he's home doing his thing. He's getting his money. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, the first day he stepped out of prison with more money than the average person that's sitting here watching this situation on YouTube gonna get in a month, in 2-3 months. He stepped out of prison to that.
So?
And I was gonna say that, you know, when back in my era, man, when I jumped in, you know, right around the time people started selling crack, right before the influx of fancy cars, rims, and so on and so forth, your reputation is what meant the most to you. You know, money is another aspect that has watered down, you know, the streets. You know, money now is more important to certain individuals in certain situations. Not saying that it shouldn't, but once again, we're talking about gangbanging, which is a subculture. And those who truly believe in that subculture believe that nothing is more important than your reputation and sticking to the rules that apply. And that's all I'm saying, man. You know, all these other, you know, things about dudes just having money and getting bread and so on and so forth, those don't apply or relate to what is expected of an individual to uphold when it comes to certain tenets, rules, regulations of gangbanging.
So do you really think he cares about what y'all feel when it comes to whatever prison yard he came?
Everybody always got to go to money. Money, money, money. Every you go to money, you lost the argument. The bottom line is, bro, if you're saying that you really think about what he cares, well, that's fine. He shouldn't care about what anyone thinks. No one should about them and their life. But just don't talk from a gang perspective anymore. Because, yeah, we're going to care about what you have to say when you're talking about that particular topic and that particular culture, if you've done something within that culture that you were not supposed to do.
And I made a video and I said something, you know, something similar, right? And it's not just gang banging. It's the same thing. We expect people to be who they say they are. We expect the preacher to, when he's up in there preaching, once he gets out of that pulpit, to live by what he's preaching. Like I said, if we catch the preacher, years down the line after he been preaching, catch him at the club cheating with some young girl, we're going to be disappointed. That's one of the main reasons people get so highly upset when they see police brutality or the police doing these things, because you guys, the police, are telling people to follow the law. You are taking people's liberty away, sending people to jail, destroying lives when they're not following the law, and then we catch you not following the law. So of course it is expecting a person to be who he presents himself to be. That's basically all it is, man.
Talk about your kids, talk about your life, talk about your wife. That's fine. But if you're talking about this, then you've lost your voice. We don't want to hear what you have to say about this if you didn't do what you were supposed to do. That's anybody, bro. Yeah, that's all.
From. And like I said in my last video, when an elephant's walking, do you think it's worried about what the ants on the ground are doing? You know what I'm saying? Now, these my words. Y'all might think I'm being a little harsh with it, but I'm just being 100 about it. I'm just letting you know how I feel about it. These California prison politics, like I say, where did they come from? When did they pop up? You feel what I'm saying? I don't know what's the criteria of being on this level or this yard. Because Jap ain't never told on nobody. He ain't never ran from nobody. He ain't never punked the game. He ain't never turned down no fake. He ain't never did none of that. If it came his way, he handled it. So what is the criteria? It ain't like he went to prison and he was on some other yard and something happened and went wrong and he rolled it up or PC'd it up, like I keep hearing about all these other dudes on the internet who's going to all these old funny bunny yards that they talking about. They done got jumped on, removed, or stabbed, or got whatever done to them in whatever prison they was in. And so they ended up on these other yards. See, that ain't what happened with Jab. Because one thing I know, whatever yard he was on, if drama would have came his way, he would have handled his business, man. Straight up. So then turn around, somebody send me a video of this dude, Damien Porter, a Chinaman from 11 Deuce Hoover, on the little bit he had to say. And he was saying this, that, but now in a piece of it, he was saying, okay, well, Jab, I love you, but now if you parole from a 50-50 yard, you all bad, you this, that, and the other, boom, 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 give it up, stop acting tough, this, that, and the other. And I looked at it, and I'm like, what? Man, are you cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? Stop acting tough. For what? Man, Jap ain't never had to act tough a day in his life. He ain't never put on an act for nobody. So basically, what you talk about, you know him. Well, if you know him, you should know that. Because obviously what you're saying is because he went to the prison that they sent him to, that he was scary? When has he ever been scary? When he was in prison the first time, he wasn't scary. When he was in the county jail, he wasn't scary. When he was on them streets doing what he was doing, he wasn't scary. So how all of a sudden now he's scary? Or as you say, stopped acting tough. He ain't got to act tough. He is tough. Straight up. He ain't putting on no act. So how you bring your mouth to say, don't act tough? Because anybody approach him in the wrong way, he going to handle his business. He going to handle his business. Anybody. So what you mean acting tough? Ain't nothing scary about him. Because he went to a certain prison yard, all of a sudden now he's scary? Come on, man. I used to give you more credit than that. I got to take that back. I mean, you went crazy, man. Stop acting tough. Man, the man ain't never had to act tough a day in his life. He is tough. Man, and some of these dudes, I don't know, man. Like I say.
So, he said that about me, right? And, they were saying in his comments that he was wrong, Damien Porter never said Jap 5 was acting tough. He was speaking in general. The point was that once someone goes to PC, the tough guy image doesn't really hold up anymore. You might want to listen again. That's what that one got a lot of likes. They say that he's selective politicking and all that all throughout of here. Of course, that's what he's doing. But, you know, some other people have some things to say about me saying that that's not what I said. You're wrong, Big Tune. Go listen again very carefully. He clearly said first, I don't know if it's true or not about the 50-50 yard stuff pertaining to Jap. Then said shortly after, even if it was my own brother, I would tell him, love you, little bro. He was speaking hypothetically at that point because he initially said he doesn't even know how true it is. So you misunderstood Chinaman Porter. He was careful with his words, and you still misunderstood him. Indeed. Because I never said that Jap 5 was acting tough. I've never said that. I never said that in the video. I don't have to go back to the video to even, I just did it yesterday or whatever, the day before. I don't even, I know what I said in there. If anything, I was defending Jap throughout the video. You know, about this stuff 4 Extra was saying about how he beat him up, and 4 Extra trying to say dope fiend him, and they saying that Jap 5 is clout chasing them and all that. I kept saying that's impossible. He's not clout chasing them. That they've been speaking on him forever. I went on to say that, yes, I know him and I know his father. I said that I might be, you know, y'all might see me as, I had to put a disclaimer out there that I know him. You know, if it sounds like I'm being a little biased or whatever, it's because I know him. Since he was a child, I said in there. So I never turned on Jap 5 or said that he was acting tough. Y'all can go look at the video. Those words never, I was indeed speaking in general. I was saying once you go to a 50-50 yard, whomever it is, because again, my video was about reacting, responding to 4 Extra and what he had to say about Jap 5. And then during that reaction, that came up. That Jeff, and again, that caught me off guard because I didn't even know it. Since then, people have been saying, man, Cripback was on a 50-50 yard as well. He admitted it, this and that. And he's sitting right next to 4 Extra while he's saying this. That's why he wasn't saying anything. So a lot of these dudes was on 50-50 yards, you know, which I'm about to get into. I'm gonna have to go ahead and clear this up, you know, once again, about these 50-50 yards. And can you be okay leaving, paroling from one of those yards, you know, depending on why you went over there. Like Jap went over there voluntarily, let's say, you know, not because he got removed. Is that okay? I'm gonna get into that. But Tune here, and this is where I stopped the video earlier, so I don't know what else he has to say or if he said anything else. I guess I'll let it play some more. Played the whole thing anyway. But you know, you heard what he just said. That I said that Jap 5 was acting tough. Then he goes in, you know, he ain't acting tough, he is tough. You know, I gave you more credit. I'm going to take it back. Why would you take the credit back? Because I'm saying something that you, first of all, I didn't say that, but even if I did, because I say something that you don't like, you know, keep your credit then, bro. You don't never give it to me because I'm going to keep it real. I have to be honest about the situation. And all this going on and on about they put him on that yard, and this, that, and the other. I'll get into that. You know what I mean? I'll get into what should have happened, what could have happened, what should have happened, bro, in that situation. Since you don't really know the politics and how they work now in prison, and that's what he keeps alluding to, then since I was, you know, not long since released from prison, again, going on 4 years, still sort of fresh in my mind what the politics are and what I went through behind those walls. So I'll see if I can enlighten a brother in my next video. I'll go ahead and get into that next. But here I'll just say that you're wrong. I wasn't castigating Jap 5 whatsoever. Go back and look at the video, and as your commenter said, watch it carefully, listen carefully. You know, someone sent you the video and you just haphazardly went through it, you know, and clearly missed the context of it all. But whatever, I'm not here to defend myself, man. You know, you ain't got to give me no credit, bro. Shout out to Big Tune. I don't have no problem with this brother. I've always given him his credit and his respect here on the channel. I don't know him personally, but I've always given him his respect. just from, some of the things I may know about him. I know he did some time in the day. I didn't know it had been since the 80s he had been in prison, but okay, that's fine. That's a good thing, that you haven't been to prison, haven't been back to that hellhole. I know he moved out of state or whatever. That's also a good thing, I'm sure. Get out of the chaotic lifestyle of gang politics of California. So all of that is fine. But I just think he's mistaken here, coming at me about how he lost his credit for me or taking his credit back because he's misquoting me. That's the thing. I'll stand on what I said, whatever it is, whenever I said it, I'll stand on it, bro. I say, that's what I said. That's how I feel. That's how I felt then, and that's how I feel now. And, blow my head off over it. I don't care. Do what you got to do, but that's how I feel. That's how I've always been. I'm going to stand on what I say, but don't put words in my mouth. Don't say I said something that I didn't say and then just go in on this, because the premise, your whole foundation is faulty. The reason that you're going in is faulty from the beginning, because I never said that. You see what I'm saying? So, you're putting words in my mouth and misquote me and then having a whole soliloquy about it when you go back and look and say, damn, I never even said that. That's the part that throws me off. But that's okay too. We all make mistakes, but I didn't say that, bro. And again, if anything, I was defending Jap in there, but I'm not defending the 50-50 yard. I can't do that. I'm not going to defend the 50-50 yard. I don't care who's on there. I don't care. It's all bad. Period. Straight up. I don't care. I'm never gonna change my mind about that. I don't give a damn. That's all bad, bro. That's it. Accept that. Now he's saying he don't know how the California politics work now, and that's how y'all do it. Well, let me tell you how they work. That's what it is. You can't go to a 50-50. That's how they work. That's it. Who made the politics, whether you agree with the politics or not, and this, that's neither here nor there. This is what it is. These are the rules. And if you flout them, then this is what it is for you. That's it. I got to live by these same rules, bro. We all do. And if you don't, that's okay. Just accept that that's who you are now. You're no longer that guy. That's been nullified. That's been negated. You're not some big old elephant stepping on ants. No, that's over. You're an ant now. That's it.
Hey, I ain't been in the California prison system in a long time, man. In a long time, man. So, like I say, I don't know what a 50-50 yard is. I don't know what a SNY or SNL or whatever that's called yard is. You know what I'm saying? Okay, yeah, you got the level 4 yards. Boom, 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 boom. I've seen dudes on here kind of debate talking about those are Mexican politics. They not black politics. I don't know. I'm just saying stuff that I've been hearing.
Man, fuck out of here. Million fucking excuses, bro. You know what I'm saying? Man, man. I'm about to lose respect. The hell, I'm about to take some credit. The hell? No, bro. No. A million excuses as to the 50. I don't know the California politics. Okay, that's fine, bro. If you don't know, I'm about to enlighten you. You haven't been in prison in 40 years, I'll enlighten you. No problem. I'll tell you what it is. I just paroled from a level 4 yard. I'll tell you what's going on there. I'm in communication with them daily right now. I'll tell you what's going on. Then it's, I'm hearing this, the Mexican politics. And, just a million excuses. Whosever politics it is, whatever the reason is for these politics, who came up with these rules, none of that matters. If we did get it from the Mexicans, that doesn't matter at this point. What matters is that these are what the rules are. Wherever we got them from, this is what it is. Everyone agrees on it. And either you down with this or you are not.
And that's normally I would do a little bit more interrupting, but I'm just trying to let both of these dudes get their points across, right? And it's pretty much universal, man, that just certain yards, right? Any yard that is officially deemed by the California Department of Corrections to be a SNY yard or a PC yard, it's not acceptable to go there in due time because Crips, Bloods, everybody who's in the street, even you don't have to be black, whatever, to do time among those who could not make it on the main line is just looked at as a dishonorable thing, and that's just the that's just the bottom line. We all should worry about staying free when we're free, but those who want to still have a street reputation, who want to uphold themselves as gang members, you have to worry about being free when you're free. Once you go in there, you have to go in there and deal with whatever's going on them main lines. If they happen to send you to a yard that they designate to be a PC yard, it is your duty and obligation to get off that yard as soon as you possibly can if you want to maintain a name that's within good standings in the gang banging community, man. It's no disrespect to Toon, no disrespect to Damien Porter, no disrespect to Jab 5, no disrespect to J Hood or any of the names that have came up in this video. We all know the simple and plain policies, right? And then at times, you have individuals who want to make exceptions because, as Toon said earlier, he was biased. He's biased. So, of course, you're going to look at things differently when they apply to a loved one. But we all at one point were steadfast in this gang ideology. And all, at one point, everybody that I have mentioned would have not gave 2 cents about an individual on an SNY yard. So, we just got to keep it real. We got to just, man, we got to cut it right down the middle, man, and say it like it is, man.
Either you're going to abide by this or you are not. That's it. That's all that matters. Everything else is a distraction and a smokescreen. Damn where it came from. Damn how much you know about it. It wasn't happening when you was there. That was in the 80s. Yeah, it's happening now. This is what's going on now. I don't care if it wasn't going on 5 years ago. This is what's going on now. And now they say if you go to a 50-50 yard, it's all bad. That's it. There's no way around it.
Know whose politics they are. But like I said, they weren't the politics when I was in prison, not for the blacks. Really not for nobody, because they didn't have them type yards. So now all of a sudden, all these years that went by, now out of nowhere, blacks then came up with these certain politics to where if you on a certain type yard, you ain't no good? Or is it like I've been hearing, they just running behind copying what the Mexicans doing? I don't know.
Well, let me tell you again, we're not copying anyone, bro. Before these 50-50 yards, they had SNY yard, just straight PC. SNY stands for Sensitive Needs Yard. SNY, Sensitive Needs Yard. Meaning you have sensitive needs, meaning that you need protection. PC. Toon says he never even heard of that. He never even heard of a PC yard before. What is it, SNY, SNL, whatever it is. And I hear that they following behind. Okay, so Jap 5 doesn't agree with the politics? Is that why he went over there? Because he wants to challenge the politics and where they came from? Is that what you're saying? Because that's what you're doing now. You're challenging the politics. I don't know where they came from. People saying if that's how they politicking now, okay, whatever. Yes, that's how we politicking now, bro. Damn where it came from. Oh, that's an excuse. or hurricane, whoever, this is what they're standing on now. That's it. That's the only thing you need to get through your head, everyone. This is what's being stood on. Where it came from, why it came from there, it's neither here nor there. The only thing that matters is this is what the rules and the protocols are.
Well, I'm gonna stop the video here, man. And you know, like I said at the start of the video, I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm here 100% because this is content. I'm hoping that, you know, these brothers are just expressing their opinions and it's just content for them as well. You know, at the end of the day, I think people who watch YouTube have to realize, you know, we get paid behind these videos. And so at times we are going to do content that might be considered inflammatory, right? But at the end of the day, especially with me and this topic, it's just 100% content. You know, I'm just speaking of the streets and things that apply as I know it, man. And I want to reiterate one last time, you know, a lot of times, you know, in all races, organizations, gangs, so on and so forth, there's favoritism shown. I remember I seen a dude, right? He said something in relation to, you know, if he happened to be on a yard and one of his homeboys, he was talking about a homeboy in particular who, you know, who was known to be, who had testified. He said that he would not let anybody do anything to him. You know what I'm saying? He said, y'all bet not touch him and so on and so forth, because that was his particular homeboy. The game is not supposed to go that way, right? When people start seeing certain allowances made for certain other individuals, it becomes, the dissension becomes a reason why you start having people veer away and cutting away real quick. You know, one time I had left Ironwood. I went to Chuckawalla, which is a level 2. There was an individual over there, well-known street reputation. He ran with the IE car, right? And he was stealing. He was around there stealing. And you know, you had individuals from his particular section who didn't want to get him due to his street reputation. This dude was a known hitter on the street. And so you had other individuals who ran with the IE car from an entirely different city. They wanted to stop hanging with the car because they knew how the game should go. They knew that this dude who was stealing was supposed to get physically disciplined and ran up off the yard. And he had immediate homeboys, but his immediate homeboys, who were happened to be his younger homeboys as well, was scared of having to run across this dude potentially on the street because the dude didn't have life, right? And so it's things like that. I just give you guys that story to say it's things like that that unfortunately water down the game. And it's things like that and at least 25, 30 other reasons why the streets are dead. You know, it's no need in getting out there, playing in the streets, pretending to be a gang member. The streets are dead. You know, I don't think it's a bad or negative thing for an individual to want to change his life, right? I do believe if you go to prison as a gang member, come home as a gang member, and then change your life if you choose, you know. I mean, because when we put ourselves in those situations, this is me personally, I feel that we have to ride it out. You know, we wasn't worried about changing when we was out there robbing the old lady, selling drugs to whoever, robbing, stealing, snatching, whatever it was we was doing. We wasn't concerned with getting out of trouble, staying out of trouble. So when we go to jail, don't be concerned with staying out of trouble and coming home. Then complete the mission the way you started the mission, and then at some point in time, if you have some type of intellectual awakening while you are in prison, when you get out, change your life. But anyway, man, you already know what it is. Shout out to Damien Porter. Shout out to Cartoon. It's your boy 16 to Life. Resume normal program.